Halliday. It only as far as McEachran. A bit of room here for Halliday. It's a great cross in and it's a super finish. Grant Ledbetter has put Middlesbrough in front. It's a super ball in. Ledbetter runs onto it and just able to guide it past Butland, who was unable to prevent it going in. Zigic picks up the loose ball. King making the run ahead of him. Zigic waiting for support. It's arriving from Caddis and from Spector and from King off the post. Marlon King so close to levelling things up. Oh, there was a touch on the way through from Steele. Caddis with the ball in. Might drop here for Ravel Morrison. King. Well, the referee's given a penalty. Foul by Piqué on Marlon King. And a chance for Birmingham just before half-time. It's King against Steele. It is 1-1 at St Andrews. Marlon King scores against the club where he spent half a season on loan a few years back. Oh, terrific ball through. McDonald! Butland with the save. Jack Butland maintains the score at 1 apiece. Hoyt. Might drop in the middle for McDonald. Bit of hesitation in the Birmingham rearguard there. McDonald has scored. Well, Birmingham thought that there was a handball in the build-up there. Let's have another look. As it comes down, did it come off the arm there of McDonald? Nobody able to get hold of it in a blue shirt. And McDonald's persistence paid off. Zigic. It's going all the way. Denied by Steele. What a chance that was. Spector with the run and shot. And towards Zigic again. Once more it's cleared by Middlesbrough. Oh, it's an equaliser for Birmingham. And what a goal from Wade Elliott. One touch to control from Elliott and one touch to fire it wonderfully past Jason Steele. Goalkeeper looked to be at full stretch. Here's Robert Hall. Oh, it's behind the two strikers. Elliott, he can hit them. Appeals for handball as it strikes the figure there of Nicky Bailey. See what Bailey's trying to explain to the referee. Donald calling for it in the middle. So it's McEachran. And a misplaced pass. Ledbetter couldn't get there. King. It's Marlon King to finish it for Birmingham. And for the first time tonight, the Blues are in front. And it all stemmed from Middlesbrough conceding possession. McEachran's ball was picked up quickly by Lovenkrantz, and King did the rest.
In Dougie Freedman at Bolton and Mick McCarthy at Ipswich, two clubs slowly making progress under their new managers. Ipswich rather generously handing Bolton the chance to extend their 6-game unbeaten run under Freedman when Mark Davis had space to sweep the home side ahead. With 20 minutes to go though, Town set about turning the match around as Tyrone Mears tripped Daryl Murphy. And DJ Campbell kept up his habit of scoring on every other appearance. His 6th goal since arriving on loan from Queen's Park Rangers. It was a man currently on the fringes of the side whose late intervention condemned Freedman to his first defeat as Bolton boss. Michael Chopra on hand to poach a stoppage-time winner after Adam Bogdan failed to hold Bradley Ord's volley. Not quite the way the keeper would have wanted to celebrate signing a new contract this week. There was still time for Chopra to add a 3rd for the visitors, but the former Cardiff striker beaten by Bogdan's quick reflexes this time. A deserved win for Ipswich though, who are now 5 points clear of the drop zone.
Throwing paint over Stolar Solbakkens' car as somebody did midweek looks even more mindless after Wolves put their poor run behind them in emphatic fashion. New month, new dawn perhaps. Sylvana Banks-Blake claiming the goal which got December off to a better start after a winless November that saw 5 defeats in 6. Bristol City were blown away by a blistering first half display. Bjorn Sigurdarsson setting up Kevin Doyle to double the advantage, before the Irish international embarked on a run which would culminate in one of his finest goals for the club. Nobody got near Doyle as he sprinted the length of the pitch and once the goal was in sight composed himself to place his shot to perfection. City manager Derek McInnes branded his team's defensive performance before the break beyond belief. Certainly Wolves fans were pinching themselves at the half-time scoreline, 4-0 in the away team's favour, courtesy of Sigurdarsson. It was the 25th goal Bristol City had conceded in their 10 home league games so far. Only the bar stopped that dismal record from getting worse, Roger Johnson unlucky. So it's now 9 defeats from 11 for City. In the circumstances, Neil Dan's cracking late strike, no consolation at all. A result to make Solbakken cautiously optimistic.
Here's Bruno. Oh, that looks slack. And a mistake, and goes Yannick Bolasie, and that's a trip by Dunk. Now what does the referee do here? And it's a red card. Yannick Bolasie was the last man for Crystal Palace, an early controversy in this derby. Poor back pass by Bruno. Dunk miscontrolled, took his eye off it, and down went Bolasie, and it had to be a red card. What an opportunity here for Crystal Palace, who's taking it. Garvin's stood over the ball. Bolasie who has fouled. It's Garvin's left foot, and Garvin's hit the crossbar. Well, Thomas Kuszczak was beaten. But a lovely curling shot, he got it over the wall. And Crystal Palace so close to breaking the deadlock. Nice turn by Craig McHale-Smith. Won back by the tenacity of the Crystal Palace triumvirate in midfield. Here's Bolasie running at Calderon. Bolasie goes to goal. Fine stop by Kuszczak. Still Crystal Palace. And Britka really tidied up well there for Brighton. Well, here was the shot by Bolasie. It was a rasper, and it really stung the fingertips of Thomas Kuszczak. And there's more problems here for this overworked Brighton defence. Garvin's delivery lifts it to the far post, and it's clawed away and behind by Thomas Kuszczak, who's actually hurt himself and gone to ground and stayed down the Brighton goalkeeper. So Kuszczak goes for it, he got something on it, and it was did he hit his own player? Did he hit Ramage? It was a melee of players. But he is back on his feet now and will have to face up to a corner kick from Crystal Palace. The good delivery, the header and goal! Glenn Murray has broken the derby deadlock, and there's no feeling like scoring against your old club on an occasion such as this. It was Bolasie's delivery, and a good leap by Murray on the near post. Excellent connection, and Thomas Kuszczak was clutching at straws. We're into the final 5 minutes of the half. There's a header on goal. Good save by Speroni. Did Barnes get anything onto it? It was a lovely delivery, and Speroni called into action, and all of a sudden the blue touch paper has been lit in this frenetic derby. Little show and turn away by Dickatroy, and rather slack. And here's Mikhail Smith, who's onside. Craig Mikhail Smith against Speroni, and he's hit the outside of the post, and it's away. He was like a rampaging Viking there, Craig Mikhail Smith, the sort of chance he thrives on. And here's a lovely counter-attack by Crystal Palace. It's end-to-end now. Balassi surging past Hammond, still Balassi, and goes to ground. It has to be a free kick. Murray's onside. Murray's gone down. It's a penalty to Crystal Palace. Thomas Kuszczak has pulled down Glenn Murray. It's a yellow card for Thomas Kuszczak. Murray was onside, went wide, his right foot just made contact with the right shoulder of Thomas Kuszczak. It's Murray for Crystal Palace against Thomas Kuszczak. Murray's right foot, 2-0 to Crystal Palace, and Glenn Murray is in a purple patch of form. It's 17 for the season for the Crystal Palace number 17, Glenn Murray. That's how you take a penalty. Bruno. And Balassi wins it cleanly. And there's a problem here for Crystal Palace. There's a 4-on-3 if they play it quickly. Moritz. And Moritz has come left to Park. Now there's Balassi behind. And Moritz and Murray in the middle. Balassi looks up. Good delivery, here's Murray! Oh, it was a terrific flying header, and he was inches away from his hat-trick. Leaping like a salmon at the far post. Look at that, it's a coat of paint. And Parr, and Balassi. Good ball into the middle, and here's Murray. Seems to be pushed down, it's a penalty! He's just shoved him out of the way, the Brighton captain. Owen Garvin for Crystal Palace. Garvin, it's 3-0. Well, Kuszczak got a hand to it, but it wasn't enough to keep it out. And Crystal Palace are blowing away the resistance of Brighton here now. It was a brave effort from Thomas Kuszczak, but it packs a punch, that left foot from Garvin.
10 months ago, Simon Grayson was sacked as Leeds boss to make way for Neil Warnock. So after the pleasantries, a smile on the face of the town manager perhaps, as Chris Atkinson, freshly recalled from a loan spell at Chesterfield, set the tone for a derby day that had drama and intrigue wherever you looked. Leeds' mini-revival has coincided with Huddersfield's dip in form, and they must have feared the worst when United scored twice in 2 minutes. First, Michael Tong's shot wriggling through the hands of keeper Alex Smithies. The cap, it seemed, proving a rather ineffective screen against the low winter sun. Tong's long ball forward released Leeds for their second, Ross McCormack feeding top scorer Luciano Becchio, and a super finish from the man whose midweek penalty saw off Leicester. Clumsy contact by Becchio allowed Huddersfield to go in level at the break. The Argentinian's foul on Peter Clark spotted by the referee. Penalty for Huddersfield, and a moment for the former Leeds midfielder Adam Clayton to make a point to Warnock. Shocked to be told in the summer he was no longer wanted at Ellen Road, he scored and then ran to celebrate in front of his old boss, who was happy to applaud the audacity. Huddersfield are one of 7 teams Warnock has led to promotion as a manager. Maybe Leeds can be the 8th, as David Norris put United on course for a 3rd successive win and moved them closer to the playoff places. When Luciano plays well, Leeds play well, said Warnock, and Becchio it was who had the final say to give Warnock a happy 64th birthday and lift Leeds to within 4 points of the top 6.
Andy King now for Vardy, smuggled away by Jake Buxton, though kept alive here now by Lloyd Dyer for Leicester. This is Lloyd Dyer, and the cross in behind Legston's goal, and it was only, I think, a goal kick. There was a touch off the Derby defender. In by Waghorn here, and the header from Whitbread! Zach Whitbread with his first goal for the Foxes. A thumping header and a huge blow dealt to Derby. Here's Drinkwater to Waghorn, who's been caught there, taken down by the challenge of Jake Buxton. Again, Whitbread has gone forward here to put pressure on Legston's goal. It'll be a Martin Waghorn delivery again. In by Waghorn, who went for goal himself. And Legston's across there to get his fingers to it. It was almost one here to catch the goalkeeper unawares. Marking for the top corner, but for the save here of Legston's. Kincheski and Waghorn. And a stumble here and a handball surely here. Might be a card as well, this. And Paul Cooch there off balance. And the referee decides deliberate handball, even though he was losing his footing. In by Waghorn, who went for goal again, and this time hits the crossbar. Well, Waghorn's in the mood tonight, big time, isn't he? Martin Waghorn is in superb form tonight. Knockaert checks, good play. Vardy's touch, clever here now for Waghorn. It's Martin Waghorn. It might break here for Lloyd Dyer. Again, Leicester on the front foot, pacey, punchy. In goes the cross for Waghorn! No! What a save, Legston's. Fine save. But this player, Martin Waghorn, having so far a night to remember. O'Connor loose, given away here to Knockaert, and O'Connor's in trouble here. Knockaert across here for Vardy, and Waghorn has got the goal he so richly deserves. Made by Knockaert and taken by the inspired Waghorn. What can they do here? Jacobs into Robinson here. Theo Robinson, and Derby back in it. It has been their best spell, which is now underlined by getting one goal back. And here, Jacobs in for a level with Morgan Robinson. And he finished superbly here, didn't he? Robinson's goal to make it 2-1. And this game has legs. Hendrick now releases Will Hughes here. Hughes for Connor Salmon. Through the gearbox here now for Derby. Connor Salmon. Schmeichel saves it with his legs. Almost 2-2. It's been a tremendous first half. Oh, Vardy, lovely touch to Dyer here. Dyer does well here. Lloyd Dyer! Knockaert handball against Knockaert. Blatant. Referee sees it, gives it, and the Leicester chance is gone. Dyer, that lovely change of pace he has. The hand of a fox. Away by Schmeichel. Little touch on from Nugent here now for Martin Waghorn. Waghorn's in here, and he's hit the crossbar. So close. He seemed so casual, but he got the touch to it, and the crossbar prevents Leicester from reclaiming a 2-goal foothold in this match. But here they come again. Drinkwater. Now Ben Marshall. Still Ben Marshall. Marshall's cross and Nugent's header, and that is a 2-goal cushion again for Leicester. 10th league goal this campaign for David Nugent, and that might just see off Derby County. It's a great cross from Marshall, high class delivery, and the header none too shabby either, was it? Kincheski, little dummy there from King here, and the shot blocked for now, and then, oh, what a finish by Nugent again! He has 2, and Leicester, for the second successive season versus Derby at home, have 4. 4-0 last season, 4-1 so far this. And Derby now are done for. 4-1 Leicester.
Just hold on a minute, guys. Can you just hold on a minute, yeah?
Two form teams head-to-head at the Den. Chris Powell's Charlton climbs steadily up the standings through November with 4 wins in their last 5. But Millwall had just won 4 in a row, making this potentially a South East London derby to savour. When Andy Keogh's cross found Liam Feeney at full stretch, the home side weren't too far from drawing first blood. Kenny Jackett's men, who went into the weekend in the playoff places, had the lion's share of chances, appropriately enough. Keogh checking Ben Hamer was on his toes in the second half, as Charlton held firm. Both sides have built their recent runs on a bedrock of clean sheets, and here were 2 more for the collection. Danny and Gesson thwarted to leave Millwall frustrated, but unbeaten in 13 league games for the first time since the 70s. Steve Bruce says he's been enjoying management again since joining Hull, who've cemented their position in the playoff places, partly thanks to a first for the club this season. The Tigers were the only championship team not to have won a penalty so far. Simon Gillette's tangle with David Mailer changed that. And Robert Corran, castigated for a glaring midweek miss from 6 yards against Crystal Palace, proved much more effective from 12. He wasn't celebrating for long. At the other end, Billy Sharp's darting run appeared to catch Robbie Brady by surprise. Another spot kick. Sharp was keen to shoulder the responsibility, and he couldn't have placed the penalty better. So nothing between the sides at the break. It was that sort of match. Hard to pick a winner, and even more difficult to predict the man who'd score it. Defender Paul McShane hitting the net for Hull for the first time in 4 years, though with his hand, according to Forrest. David Stockdale's digits certainly did make a difference. The Tigers keeper finger-tipping Sharp's header to safety to preserve the narrow lead and leave home boss Sean O'Driscoll philosophical at the finish. To London Road next, a ground which Peterborough's opponents often find a little too welcoming. The locals live in hope. But these are bleak times for the bottom club, set on their way to a 6th defeat in 7 by Wes Thomas. His first goal for Blackpool since linking up on loan again with boss Michael Appleton. And the striker also won the penalty which put the Seasiders in control. Characteristically, Thomas Ince took the pressure in his stride. Briefly, there was the prospect of a Peterborough comeback as Alex Baptiste's mistake was pounced upon by Dwight Gale. Dagenham and Redbridge's top scorer this season, showing he could be a useful addition on loan. But unfortunately for the home side, Baptiste's generosity turned out to be contagious. When Posh squandered possession, Angel Martinez played a tidy 1-2 with Ince and then provided the perfect centre for Nua Dicko. After 4 draws under Appleton, Blackpool were on track to give the new man his first victory. Keeping Ince could be the manager's next big challenge. Another touch of class topped off for success. 7 goals in 7 from the man who one way or another is surely destined for the top flight. Posh could be heading in the other direction.
The pressure on Barnsley boss Keith Hill would only intensify at the hands of a Watford side on the rise. Troy Deeney celebrating his 100th appearance for the club with the opening goal after 10 minutes. Another corner, almost another headed goal, this time Marco Cassetti's effort bouncing off the crossbar. But they turned on the goal tap after the break as Mark Yates beat defenders and the tight angle for his 2nd of the week. More misery for Barnsley, without a win in 9 games now, as Fernando Forestieri's quickly taken free kick was tucked away by Deeney, taking his impressive scoring rate to 6 goals in 4 matches. Watford were lethal on their travels in November, 6 goals at Leeds, 4 at Sheffield Wednesday. This time an emphatic win in front of their own fans as Jimmy McNulty brought down Matej Vydra, and the Czech striker on loan from Udinese gave boss Gianfranco Zola another reason to smile. And the Hornets almost got a 5th. Yates' free kick kept out only by the width of a post. It wouldn't have been much consolation, but at least there was a 2nd goal of the week for Barnsley's on-loan Nottingham Forest striker Marcus Tudgay. Hill's men 4th bottom now, Watford up to 6th. November was a month to forget for York. 4 league games without a win out of the FA Cup in the first round. December couldn't have started much better. Some calamitous Rochdale defending, handing Michael Potts a soft opening goal after 7 minutes. Rochdale had lost just one of their previous 6 league games, so something of a shock to the system that they were 2 down after 20 minutes. And to a goal like this, Jason Walker surprised to see his toe poke bounce past keeper Josh Lillis. Chances kept on coming for York, and by half-time they were 3-0 up and coasting, as Ashley Chambers provided the perspiration down the left, and Potts, making the most of his first start of the season, provided the persistence to notch his second. Rochdale had been hoping to break into the top 7, so it was little surprise that they launched a second-half fight-back. The long legs of defender Rhys Bennett carrying the ball almost half the length of the field to pull a goal back for John Coleman's side, his first for the club. 7 minutes from time and York's lead was reduced to a single goal. Potts with the foul on George Donnelly, and Bobby Grant's penalty ensuring a nervous finale for York, who held on for the win.
Torquay suffered their first home league defeat in 15 last time out at Plainmoor against Southend, but this was back to the normal routine. Dagenham keeper Chris Lewington patting the ball down to Danny Stevens for the goal's breakthrough. It wasn't all plain sailing. 17 minutes from the end, the Essex club equalised. There was nothing pretty about the Daggers' build-up, but the finish from Matthew Saunders couldn't be faulted. The good work was undone though just 10 minutes from time. Arguably the last thing Abu Agogo needs is another O&G added to his surname, but that's exactly the fate that befell the defender as he turned Niall Thompson's driven cross into his own net. Torquay back on the brink of the playoff places.
This was a game originally abandoned after 63 minutes in August when a thunderstorm made the pitch unplayable. At the time, Rovers were leading 3-1, so you can imagine the grumbling when Joel Grant put Wickham ahead in the rearranged fixture. No wins in their last 3 games. Mark McGee's side fell further behind in the second half as they failed to cut out Sam Wood's cross, and the player-manager Gareth Ainsworth headed in Wickham's second. A defeat that leaves Rovers just 3 points off the bottom, compounded by the dismissal of defender Michael Lund for this rash foul on Stuart Lewis. This time it must have been the Pirates hoping the heavens would open and force another postponement.